Praise you, Father, you are good. Your grace and your mercy endures forever. Endeavors your faithfulness. Let your Ruach be upon the ears and the hearts of who you choose. Please let your Ruach be upon me and these lips. I am nothing but a vessel. I am nothing but a blade of grass. What is man that thou art mindful of him? Praise you, Father, you are good. Your grace and your mercy endures forever. Endeavors your faithfulness. Let your Ruach be upon the hearts of the hearers of this word, Father. In Yeshua's mighty, mighty name. Selah. Amen. So, let's continue. 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. Let's stay humble. And if you're not going to stay humble, if we're not going to stay humble, the Most High, He has a way of making sure that you do. Trust me. 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Let's go over this again a little bit and let Yah will be done. This is Paul. I have to boast. There is nothing to be gained by it, but I will go on to visions and revelations of the Lord. This is Paul talking. I know a man in union with the Messiah who 14 years ago was snatched up into the third heaven. Whether he was in the body or outside the body, I don't know. Only God knows. And I know that such a man, whether in the body or apart from the body, I don't know, Yahweh knows, was snatched into the garden and heard things that cannot be put into words, things unlawful for a human being to utter. About such a man I will boast, but about myself I will not boast, because I will be speaking about myself. I will not boast, except in regard to my weaknesses. About myself I will not boast, except in regard to my weaknesses. And trust me, I am a man who has experienced much pain, suffering, a lot through my own choices. I'm a man who has experienced what it is to be weak in this flesh. This is why I cry out, because I know myself. I am nothing without Him. Nothing. I am nothing without Yahweh. Nothing. 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Verse 6. If I do want to boast, I will not be foolish, because I will be speaking the truth. But because of the extraordinary greatness of the revelations, I refrain. What Paul is saying is that if he wanted to boast, he could, because he will be telling the truth. And because of the extraordinary revelations, he's going to refrain from that boasting, because he actually will be telling the truth, and the revelations are extraordinary. But right before that, he says what? He's not going to do it. If he's going to boast, he's going to boast in his weaknesses. I refrain so that no one will think that I am more highly than I am. I refrain so that no one will think more of me than what my words or deeds may warrant. Therefore, to keep me from being overly proud, I was given in my flesh a messenger from the adversary to pound away at me, so that I wouldn't grow conceited. 3 times I begged Yahweh to take this from me. But He told me, my grace is enough for you, for my power is brought to perfection in weakness. We want this power that he has planted in us, that seed that he has planted in us, that earnest expectation that he has planted in us to be brought forth unto perfection. It is done through you recognizing and humbling yourself because of your weaknesses. Hallelujah. Therefore, I am very happy to boast about my weaknesses in order that the Messiah's power will rest upon me. Yes, I am well pleased with weaknesses, well pleased with insults, well pleased with hardships, well pleased with persecutions and difficulties endured on behalf of the Messiah. For it is when I am weak that I am strong. Paradox, right? Paradox, right? It is when I am weak that I am strong. And that's one thing about the faith, about this walk. It's very, very counterintuitive. It goes against the natural way. You know what I mean? Of the flesh, rather. When I am weak, I am strong. When I am weak, I am strong. Because when I am weak, Yeshua is made alive. Just think about Yeshua, right? In his weakest point when he was on this earth, right? His weakest point was when he was on the cross. Or when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, actually praying that the cup would pass, and so much that he was sweating blood. But what was actually happening? He was actually on his way to be crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords, for his name to be the name that is above every name, for him to have power and dominion over life and death. The keys to hell was to be given to him because he was obedient in his weakness. But his weakness was only on the surface. His weakness, because he knew who he was, right? His weakness was only on the outward appearance to other men. Look at him. Look at him on the cross. If you were the Son of God, come down from there. They mocked him, right? So when they thought they had him, giving him the whips and giving him the lashes and putting him on the cross, putting him on the stake and giving him a crown of thorns, right? Made him that weak, put a fake crown of thorns on him. Since you the King of Kings, since you the King of the Jews, put a crown of thorns on him. And everybody looking at him like, look at that dude. Look at him now. He weak. He performed all these miracles and he can't save himself. Look at him. He's weak. But in that weakness, he was actually strong. And therefore, he was crowned King of Kings. So let us therefore boast in our weaknesses. Let us bear the crown of thorns as we wait for that crown that we're going to take right off and throw it right at his feet. In our weaknesses, he's made strong. Shalom. Please, y'all, let's boast in our weaknesses. For we are nothing. We are nothing. Yahweh do not need us. But he chose us. Hallelujah. Shalom.